battle, boy, you're paranoid. Trust in the most high, forget the noise. Be serious, don't be so ignorant. Knowledge is power, the force is intelligent. Jesus coming soon, earthquake and shake.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black But 91. We are talking to you today, guys, about a very heavy topic, I guess. But it's are the partner you're dealing with, or are the partner? Oh, sorry about that. Didn't realize I have my other YouTube going. But is the partner that you're dealing with, are they rude or are they emotionally abusive? Are they rude or are they emotionally or verbally even saying abusive? And I think this is a really important topic to talk about today, because we are talking about obviously F-boys and all that kind of stuff. We're talking about how to stop getting played and stuff like that. But I really do think this is a really important topic, because I think sometimes some of the people that people encounter are not always, as I said, part of that ethos of group where they want to play and just get your heart or your money or sex. There is another group that seek to kill, destroy, and steal from you. Okay, all right. And so they operate in a very dark manner. And so, like I said, this whole channel is all about exposing the dark arts. Okay, it's all about exposing things that aren't right in relationships, that don't make it healthy. Okay, so if you're here new, this is Dark Arts 91. We're here to help you navigate the dating world, avoiding the pitfalls of manipulation. This is what we're talking about today, that both men and women use to control, dominate, persuade, influence you into doing what they want. If you're tired of being played, then this is the channel for you. Okay, all right. This is the channel for you. And as always, let's give the definition of what dark arts is. Dark arts is the use of manipulation tactics to exert control, influence, have power, and to take something by force without force. Okay, so today's topic we're talking about is, are they rude? Are they emotionally abusive? Well, first and foremost, let's just give a definition of what abuse is and what I guess being rude is, or even being impolite would be. Okay, so the definition for abuse would be use something to bad effect or for bad purpose, or to misuse, or to treat a person or an animal with cruelty or violence, especially regularly or repeatedly. Okay, so I like that last definition of it. It's treat a person or animal with cruelty or violence, especially regularly or repeatedly. What's one of the favorite terms you guys hear me say a lot of times? Love without truth without love is what? Cruelty. You hear me say this all the time. People saying truth without love, it is cruelty. And so when we're talking about abuse versus is it rude or them being just blunt, as they say, okay, a person who treats a person with cruelty or violence, especially regularly or repeatedly. So it's a pattern of behavior. It's not a one-off. It's a pattern of behavior that consistently keeps happening over a period of time, all right, in relationships. So this topic is a very kind of heavy topic, and it can get touchy real quick. And so I want to give a few definitions first of all, so we're just kind of gonna highlight where we are as well. But again, if you're new to this channel, please do like this live, share it with somebody who needs this as well. And as well, if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel and click on that bell button and get acquainted with this. Okay, so we're talking about emotional abuse. All right, so I'm going to start from this point onwards. So emotional abuse, if we define what that is, that makes it very easy to define between what's rude and what's emotionally abusive, because you could be rude without being emotionally abusive. I mean, it's a one-off, you're rude, or you just, you've got a bit of a bite to you when you talk or whatever. But in relationships especially, you want to define these behaviors. So emotional abuse includes non-physical behaviors such as threats, insults, constant monitoring or checking in, excessive texting, humiliation, intimidation, isolation, or stalking. Okay, all right. So when we're talking about an emotional abuse in this instance, okay, it can include all those things and then some. Okay, all right. So just look at some of those words here. Look at this: constant monitoring, threats, insults, checking in, excessive texting, humiliation, intimidation, isolation, stalking. I really want to focus on the humiliation part, right? Because I think that's a really big thing that we see, especially on different shows and stuff like that. We see couples or we see a person behaving in a particular way, right? So humiliation is the action of, well, what's that? Let me just type in a word. Let me get another definition of what humiliating is. You use humiliation in a word. How are we meant to know that what that is? Okay, humiliation, act of so what? They got no degrade. Okay, so humiliation is oh my gosh, my English. Degrading or dishonoring of someone, right? Oftentimes publicly. Okay, so when we talk about humiliation, it is degrading or dishonoring someone, oftentimes publicly. All right. So this is another definition. Another definition is this, another definition of this word. But why did the dictionary keep using humiliated as a word for humiliation? As if we're gonna know what humiliated is. We need to know what the word. It's such an English dictionary. We're using words to define it. Like I said, bro, I'm gonna know what that means, man. But okay, so to humiliate is to cause to feel a loss of pride, dignity, or self-respect. I love that definition. That's a really good definition. To humiliate somebody, right? Okay, I'll put it in the chat as well so you guys can see it, but I'll put it up so that you guys also have it as well. So to humiliate somebody, right, is to cause someone to feel a loss of pride, dignity, or self-respect. So let me give you an example. One that I heard quite recently. You know what I mean? Trust me, Aridin. I was like, what's going on? Why are they using the same word to define it? Okay, so why am I talking about humiliation? Because I think it's one of the biggest ones, and there's other ones. I'm going to go through them slowly so you guys can get an idea of it. But humiliation is a very big one, right? So these things happen. I think I was even watching Love and Marriage DC, and not to say that it was actually abusive or anything, but it was a humiliating moment. Jamie went over to whilst his wife was talking, he interrupted her conversation, and and then started touching her face in between what the group were looking at. And I was like, this is humiliating. Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm not saying he's an abuser, by the way. It's just I thought it was a humiliating moment for her because she was talking. You know what I mean? Right? So embarrassing somebody, making them feel a loss of pride, dignity, and self-respect, this shouldn't be happening in your relationship. Right? And normally when it gets to the part where it's humiliation in front of people, by this point, there's probably been rudeness, there's been cold shoulders, there's been criticism, there's been loads of other things that probably come into play well before the humiliation starts. Like when humiliation comes in, we're already some way into the emotional abuse. Okay, we're already some way into that. Again, why am I talking about this? Because some people are in these relationships and they're saying it's not that bad. And what I've noticed about people in relationships who say it's not that bad is because we've not actually highlighted what these behaviors are. Once we start highlighting some of these behaviors, you start to realize the gravity of a behavior that's coming your particular way. Okay, so just going back to our original definition of emotional abuse, sorry. It includes non-physical behaviors such as threats, insults, constant monitoring or checking in, excessive texting, humiliation, intimidation, isolation, or stalking even. All right. Right. Another thing I like to look at is, again, constant monitoring or checking in. All right. Wanting to find out where the person is at all times. Okay. All right. Wanting to always know exactly where they are. You've even got location tapped on and they don't even know. It wasn't consensual. You've got location on them because you want to know exactly where they are. My friend, you are dabbling in very dangerous behavior. You are dabbling in very dangerous behavior. Breaking into people's social media accounts, okay, to check up on them and see what they're talking about. You're going into very dangerous behavior, people. And you're calling it, oh, I'm just crazy. No, you're not just crazy. Okay, you're starting to go into a very abusive form of behavior. I need you to understand this because sometimes we call this normal. And I'm talking about for men and for women right now. Okay, yeah, you're breaking into people's social media, your partner's social media, and then saying, oh, because I'm crazy. Hey, you're not crazy. You're becoming abusive. You don't realize it. All right, you're becoming abusive. You want to know every single tweet. You want to know every single message. You want to know who they talk to every single second of the day. You want to see what picture they liked. You're now stalking your own partner on social media. My friends, you're going into a mission. In fact, you're not even going. You are there. you're in emotional abuse. Just want to let you know, you're already beginning to exert emotionally abusive forms of behavior. Okay, all right. And I know that it's social media. It's like, oh, I just didn't trust them, or no, you're starting to go somewhere you don't need to go. Can I be honest with you? You're going somewhere you do not need to go. Okay, so be very, very careful where your lack of trust, your feeling of, I just want to make sure you're going to very dangerous territory. Okay, yeah. So let's be very, very clear on that as well. Okay, all right. Excessive texting, always texting to find out where they're at. Constant messaging throughout the course of the day, so they can't do anything basically, so they can't have their own life. They can't chill with friends. You know what I mean? Right? These are all parts of emotional abuse, my friends. Again, I'm just pointing it out again. It's easy to say about threats. I think it's easy to talk about threats because, everyone kind of knows what a threat is in a sense. Things like insults, I really want to focus on this part as well, because that's where we're really focusing on when it comes to this conversation. Are they rude or are they being emotionally abusive? This is a definition for being rude: offensively impolite or ill-mannered. Doesn't sound too heavy, does it really? If you're talking about being rude, doesn't sound too difficult. Doesn't sound too heavy. All right. So I want to talk about this word here: verbal abuse. Okay, verbal abuse, and I'm bringing this up because under emotional abuse, we can say verbal kind of comes underneath that because emotional covers it all, and verbal is a very specific line. Verbal abuse. Now, some people would say, listen, you know what? My partner is very blunt. They're just cheeky. They just love a bit of sarcasm. Don't take it too seriously. It's just him or it's just her. I'm like, yo, okay. But it doesn't make you feel good, right? You don't feel good after you have a conversation with them, right? You don't like it when they're being this critical. You don't like it when they're using that sarcastic phrases. You don't like it when they're constantly asking you to go and saying things about your dress sense or about your work, or you don't like it. It doesn't feel good. So when you cover that person and say, oh no, that's just them, what you're really doing is denying what's really right in front of you. You're right. Okay. All right. Okay. uh this is a behavior explained away by the one received. Oftentimes, yes. Oftentimes, yes. And so I want to say this as well as a key point. Um, emotional abuse is emotional abuse is oftentimes subjective. I would say this: there's a level of subjection where we say someone's experience might not be emotionally abusive to somebody else's one, right? But I would say that once we begin to go through the list, if your partner is hitting 3 or 4 of those, I don't care if you say it's okay for you. No, they're in emotional abuse. And we got to ask some serious questions about what's your background. Because a lot of times what people don't realize is another key word that affects them when they go into relationships is trauma. Okay, your trauma can lead you into relationships where you don't need to be. Trauma is a psychological damage to the mind that occurs as a result of a distressing event. And again, trauma is subjective to the individual because it's really an overload of stress on the individual person who can't cope in that moment. So someone could have trauma for something that I would never have trauma for, because the way that my mind copes with it, I don't get stress from it, but other people might do. All right. So there's aspects of that. But trauma is a psychological damage to the mind that occurs as a result of the stressing event. Overwhelming levels of stress that exceed one's ability to handle, cope, integrate the emotions involved in. Okay. Trauma. Let's go back to verbal abuse. Okay. All right. So verbal abuse is an interaction in which a person is harmed by the words of another. It can be overt or subtle and difficult to recognize. Okay. So again, we're talking about this because we want to lay a foundation for you guys to say that what's a healthy relationship? Should a healthy relationship be making you cry? Should a healthy relationship be making you feel sad? Should a healthy relationship make cortisol run around your body that when your partner comes into the house, you start feeling nervous? How many of us, and I'll say this as well because I think many of us have suffered this. How many of us have lived in a home where when the key turns in the door, you're not excited about your parent giver coming home. You're not excited about your parent caregiver coming home. When you hear the door turn, you are running to your room or running somewhere or doing something so that you don't get the heat coming your way. If that's been your experience as a kid, you've experienced what I mean by this unhealthy relationship. Why is it when you turn the key door or you hear certain footsteps, you're immediately running, you're immediately feeling scared, your heartbeat's already racing? If that is your experience of a parent giver, that is not a loving relationship. That's an abusive one. Gonna say it straight for you. If that's your experience of your partner, when they come home, you're already stressing, you're scared. Every single thing you're thinking. I remember a time when I was in a situation. Um, you know, I remember a time in a situation when I was in a relationship and I got so scared about being on my phone and people messaging me in DMs. Any woman that will message me, I got so scared about a woman messaging me because the kind of relationship I was in, the person would take any little slight of message and make it a mad thing. So now I was now anxious. I just started deleting all the messages with any girl. I just deleted it. Deleted it, deleted them all, right? And I just seriously I ignored messages. I didn't reply to them. I started feeling anxious. I was like, wait, bro, you're a big man, you know. You're a big man, you know. You're a big man, you know. Heish. You're a big man, you know, that you're feeling like this, you know. I was feeling like that. And so you start feeling this anxiousness before that person even gets to you, or when you hand over your phone, you're feeling anxious. Not because you've done anything wrong, but you're scared that they're gonna have a blow up, or they're gonna get aggravated because they're gonna find something definitely to blow up about, right? And it's always an overreaction to the situation. So back to that, even the parent caregiver. Many of us have been in households where the parent caregiver, you love them, don't get twisted, and they love, and you believe, and let's believe they love us as well, we love them. But you know that when the key turns or the footsteps come or you hear your name being called, why is it every time you're associating that straight with I'm in trouble? Or I'm scared because I'm gonna get beats, or I'm scared because I'm gonna get cussed out or shouted at. I'm gonna I'm gonna feel some type of negative emotion in this moment. Now I'm trying, and this is where hyper awareness comes in, because now, as you're aware of you being berated every time or shouted at, whatever, you develop a heightened awareness where you're trying to avoid that situation all the time. And this is where, in relationships especially, where you could begin to get into a place where you're defending absolute bullcrap, right? Yeah, you know that one Caribbean girl, you know that one already. When they call you in a certain way, you just know it's on. You know they're coming for you. But this is where you start to really get into a relationship where you start to realize, you're defending absolute nonsense. And the reason why you're defending it, okay, is that you will defend nonsense of people, because what you're scared of a reaction from them when you get home, or you're scared of a reaction of your partner when you're one-to-one with them. You don't want them to blow up, so you start defending their behavior in public on nonsense. Did we not see the same thing with Paige and Chris some seasons back in Married at First Sight? Right? All right. So we're just talking about these kind of things. You start realizing, yes, this could be the genesis of people pleasing in your household when you're trying to avoid being shouted at, cursed at, cussed at. Normally, yeah, that's it. And this is it, Tiffany. That's it. You start to build up a tolerance, and you normalize dysfunction as normality, right? And it's because a lot of times too, we have experiences as a kid, right? So let me talk to you about types of sentences. We have persuasive sentences, declarative sentences, commanding sentences, question sentences, and I'm trying to remember the other one. Suggestive. Okay, all right. Uh, you know what? So you have to deep it. So if you're in a relationship where you're constantly be given commands, more than likely you grew up in a household that's very authoritarian, right? If you're in a relationship now and your partner consistently gives you commanding sentences, hey, do this, hey, do that, why are you doing it? Hey, do this, hey, do that, right? And you're hearing a command tone come from it. You are not a dog. You are nobody's lapdog. You are somebody's partner. Why are they commanding you like that? You're not in the army. Okay? That commanding tone is a start of disrespect happening. Because as a partner, I don't command you. I can ask. I may even suggest. And at times, yes, there will be times where you may say, hey, listen, don't do that. You know what? Because it's going to be a problem, right? Those are for emergencies. But when we are not in emergency and it's like plates and dishes in the sink, hey, why in the sink been, why is the washing up been, like, I'm not your kid, right? I am not your kid. Why are you giving me a commanding tone to asking of something of me? And why are you accepting the commanding tone and saying it's just them? Right? The commanding tone, that they're using that is it's just them. Right? It's just them. On the screen, types of sentences, right? So we talked about this commanding sentences. You have commanding, you have suggestive, you have questions, you have oh, I've got, why do I keep forgetting the correct types of sentences? It's so annoying. But you know, okay, so Tiffany, this is another one, right? A scripture behind it. This can also be abusive, and that's what we call spiritual abuse. Spiritual abuse, when you use scriptures to compel people to do what you want them to do, right? Even if it's against their will, you use scriptures to compel people to do what you want them to do, right? Oh, don't you know what your Bible says? Honor your father and your mother. And meanwhile, you're mistreating this child, and as soon as they try to defend themselves, hey, honor your mother and your father, right? And this is that's the point I was going to use. Black girls getting their shift together. That was a proper definition of what we see emotional abuse, because what he did in that moment was so deadly. He knew exactly what he was doing, which is why I was out. And we said it again. What did Charlie do after? What did Charlie do after he had said that? What did Charlie do? She covered it up. She trivialized it, she minimalized it, and said, no, that's not what he meant. Meanwhile, on the show, she had said how she felt about him saying that. Right? So, what you realize here is that people are sitting in relationships where they're accepting a particular standard from somebody else. Right? They're accepting these verbal tirades and onslaughts, and so it becomes normal to them. Right? Because we saw throughout the whole of the season, we saw Charlie and Otis, and we saw Charlie several times doing what? Criticizing, at points gaslighting, constantly arguing and opposing. We saw that. Trivializing the other person's concerns. We saw this, right? So you can see how quickly someone can be, a strong person can be broken down quickly. All right? So quickly. Before you know it, they're broken. All right? So a healthy relationship should leave you feeling refreshed, loved, protected, cared for. Let me just say that again. A healthy relationship, should leave you feeling refreshed, loved, cared for, appreciated. You shouldn't feel fear. The Bible says that we've not been given a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind or discipline. Okay, all right. That's what love is. In fact, we can even go okay, to describe what first love is. And you'll see these are what you should be experiencing in a relationship. And if it's healthy, we should be seeing a lot of these things. Okay. All right. Let me just bring this on the screen. You all know what it is. I'm going to use a definition of love. 1 Corinthians 13. I like that. Okay. Okay. So let's just look at this. Okay. It's what a healthy relationship looks like, guys. All right. Love is patient. There should be patience in a relationship. Let's put this up. Okay. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not what? Dishonor others, humiliation. It's not self-seeking. It's not easily angered. He's vexed or he blows up. It keeps no record of wrongs. It doesn't do tit for tats. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. They don't be lying out here. It always protects. You don't feel unprotected. You feel cared for. You feel protected. You feel like somebody's got your back. It always trusts. This person isn't possessive and jealous and trying to make you feel some way when you go outside. Oh, were you talking to somebody? Oh, you got someone else's number? Oh my God, you're with them. It doesn't make you feel like that. Okay? Always hopes and always perseveres. This is what a healthy relationship looks like. You should be feeling patience. You should be having kindness. You shouldn't be feeling like the person envies you. There shouldn't be arrogance and boasting and proudness from this person where they're conceited. You know what I mean? You're lucky to be with me. Other people want me, you know. You know what? If you don't want me, other people want me. What? It does not dishonor. It's not humiliating others. It's not self-seeking. Okay? It seeks to serve others. Your love should be seeking to serve others. Do you feel that in your relationship? Do you feel like their love is serving you? Right? Or do you feel like their love is self-seeking? For instance, when they ask you to do when you do something for them, are you scared they're going to use it against you to use it against you later on? Right? If they ask you for a favor and say, hey, look, you know what? Can you just clean the bathroom for me? Well, if I clean the bathroom, make sure next week you're going to end up doing this and that for me. If that's what you're getting, that ain't a healthy relationship dynamic. That's not even me. That's Bible. I'm just giving you what the Bible be saying. But psychologically, if you want to go there, if somebody's saying to you like, oh, if they're only doing something just to get something back from you, then it's not really a loving gesture, is it? You're not really serving the person, right? Okay? It's not self-seeking. It's not easily angered, hot-tempered, rude, you know? It keeps no record of wrongs, not doing tit for tat like we saw with Charlie and Charlie and Otis, where they're keeping score. You know what I mean? Yep, absolutely. This is exactly what Lindsay did. Absolutely what Lindsay did. Keeping score and say, hey, remember I did this and that, this and that. Always reminding you. It's abusive. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. You're not a liar. Huh? You don't lie about things. You don't gaslight the person. You know what I mean? You don't pretend there's something else, right? And it always protects, it trusts, it always hopes, and it perseveres. This is key. Healthy relationship. Does your relationship look like that? Does it feel like that? Be honest with yourself. Don't pretend. And then, cover up for the person and be like, oh, it's just them. No, don't pretend. We don't want to see you pretend. Keep it a buck. Be real with yourself. Be real and understand that, listen, if that does not align with what you're seeing in your relationship, is it really a relationship for you? Right? Is that really a relationship for you? Let's look at some examples of emotional abuse, right? Let's look at some examples of emotional abuse. Let's look at some examples of emotional abuse. Let's look at some examples. Okay, so here's some of the examples. Accusations of cheating or other signs of jealousy and possessiveness. So you're constantly getting, you're constantly getting someone who always is jealous and possessive. And some of you think it's cute. Some of you, 2 seasons ago, Zach and Michaela, 3 seasons ago, Zach and Michaela. Michaela said, I'm a little bit jealous and possessive. And what did Zach say? I like that. I like to see you a bit possessive and both of them were abusive to each other. right? Jealousy and possessiveness. Now, the Bible says that God is a jealous God. What it means by that, it doesn't mean that you won't be jealous. We are all jealous at points in time, but a jealousy that is so well known, that's so well versed, that's so well spoken that it begins to intrude on your day-to-day operations in life. You can't even go to your workplace because your partner will be feel some way. You wear a skirt to work, he's already workers wear a skirt to work, he's accusing you. You wear a particular aftershave, and she's saying you're gonna cheat on me, aren't you? Eh? You're gonna cheat on me. Listen, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something now, right now, guys. If somebody who you're just dating says to you, "Oh, you're gonna cheat on me," I feel like they got low self-esteem and they're about to control you. Get out of there, right? Get out of there. Get out of there, man. Get out of there, man. Okay, get out of there, man. If they're telling you this thing where, oh, you know what, I feel like you're gonna cheat on me, you got low self-esteem, and you're probably about to try and control the person because your fear is about to be realized, and you're gonna try and control it. I'm not about to save you. If that's your thoughts and you think that someone's gonna cheat on you, my friend, go and heal, sit on a bench, get a counselor, and deal with yourself. Because it's not going to be me that has to do extra legwork to always prove to you that I'm not going to cheat on you. That's how people get into abusive relationships. That's what I'm saying. Accusation of cheating or other signs of jealousy and possessiveness. Stop thinking it's cute. It is not cute. Okay. All right. It is not cute. Okay. Someone said, I admit, I used to think it was cute when I was 19, 10 years, and I'm so turned off by that now. It's like a sign of instability. Absolutely. Jealousy is a form of control, and it will control you because what you'll realize is the wrath that's coming underneath jealousy. When they say to you, why did you go there? Why did you do what you did? I don't like what you're doing. Da, 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 da. And now you're feeling bad because remember, you don't want to hurt the person's feelings. So you're going to now change your behavior based on their behavior. That's how we start getting into a very dangerous area, man. Adrian said, I was thinking of them too, especially in regards to Michaela, who literally forgot what she said 5 minutes beforehand. Think couples mini moon. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I love this point as well. Jealousy leads to control, to guilt. Run for your life. Absolutely as well. All right. Okay. So that's another thing. Okay. Number 2, constant checking or other attempts to control the other person's behavior. Oh, this is a big one, This is a big one, Listen, making a suggestion that, hey, babe, do you know what? I don't think that dress works, right? That dress don't work. Babe, you know what? We're going to dinner. We're going to see my parents. I actually don't think that dress works. I'm going to be honest with you, right? Suggesting. I don't think that thing works, right? You might say to your partner, babe, you know what? The shoes you got on right now, the loafers, I don't think they work with the suit. Yeah, they're brown loafers, but your suit is white. I'm not really sure if this works. I think we need different shoes, right? These are suggestions, right? These are advices that are given, right? Not take off them brown shoes now and put on white ones, right? That's a control right there. Okay. So we have to be very, very careful in how we go about these things, right? Very, very careful. So constant checking or other attempts to control the other person's behavior. Why are we constantly trying to check the other person's behavior? Why are we doing that? Absolutely right, Moon. Of course, you want the person to say, babe, I don't think that works, right? I don't think that works. It's not a command though. Take it off. They don't work. Like, by the tone, right? By the tone, because if again, remember, cruelty is love is truth without love. So remember we said about emotional abuse. If we go back to our original definition of emotional abuse, it's all about whether that particular aspect of your conversation is an intentional tone, right? Is it cruelty what you're saying right now? You know what I mean? And some people are so used to cruelty because they experienced cruelty in their childhood and that it's so normal for them to just go along with it. You had rude parents that were cruel unnecessarily. And so you accept the cruelness from your partner as well. You know what I mean? So yes, again, of course, babe, I don't like the shoes you got on or the dress I'm seeing. It might be a bit too much, babe. Your breasts are a little bit out. Just saying. And where we're going, I don't know if it fits the scenario where we're going, babe. You might want to rethink that. Right? Okay, so it's suggestive. It's not demanding, commanding. Do you know what I mean? So got to be very, 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 very careful. Again, you got to be very, very, very careful. Words hurt. Okay, words do hurt. Okay. Constant arguing or opposing. This is a big one here. Constant arguing or opposing. So anytime something comes up, there's an argument. And there's an argument because they always have to win, right? They're always against you, never for you. All right? You bring up the fact the sky is blue, they're like, it's green. And I told you it's green. Why'd you keep saying it's blue? It's green. They argue over things that don't need to be argued about. Right? All right? So they argue about these things all the time. They will argue things that don't need to be argued. And the way they argue is a win-lose situation. They consistently want to see you lose in an argument. And the reason is to make you feel like you don't have a voice. It's to make you feel like your opinion don't matter. It's to make you feel like you're not good enough to be right. And if you're always wrong, can you trust your judgment? If I'm when I say something, and I'm not saying it, can I trust that I'm not making it up? You start asking yourself real questions. You start questioning yourself. All right? Very clever, covert way of doing this. Again, arguments are different from somebody consistently arguing. You know when someone's consistently arguing because they argue on the smallest thing. And the way they argue is 0 to 100. It's not like, oh, somebody who's argumentative or no, this person just wants to argue all the time. And it don't matter what it is, they'll argue. And they make sure that you lose. You're tired by the end. Okay. This one's good. Criticism. This one is a very interesting one. Why? Because you know what? People go through this one. Criticism is a very powerful thing. Okay. All right. You bring to them. Okay. You bring to them. Exactly. Yes, that's a good point. It leaves you emotionally exhausted. Absolutely. You bring to them let's say an idea. You say, babe, do you know what? I'm thinking of running a business. And they say to you, you're not good enough to run a business though. Like you failed before. You're not going to get it this time. Right. Or, you want to do business. I don't think you're good enough to do a business. Yeah. I think you're not. I don't think that's your field at all. Sorry. Right. Oh no. Criticism here. Saying something out of pocket. You say, oh, you know what? That dress don't look good on you. Sorry. Right? Yeah, that don't work on you. No. Yeah, I've seen it better. Like, wait, what? Yeah, I've seen it better. Yeah. Yeah, it's just man. I've and see, critique comes often with judgment. You're not good enough to do that. Oh, you're not nice enough to do that. Oh, you ain't got a body for that. Yeah, you're embarrassing if you do that. Yeah, you know what? And so it is and that's what we say about constructive criticism. We say that in business, we say that in work. What's constructive criticism? Yes, Charlene, they are dream destroyers. And of course, we've all been probably in a, not all of us, maybe a lot of us have been in a situation where we've said something and we've been rude about it, and it's probably coming from our fears, but you don't hit all the other spectrums on the emotional abuse actor. One out of the lot is not making you abusive, but it can be a problem still, right? I remember a situation when one of my partners back in the day said to me, oh, she wants to go to Ghana and set up a business there. And I was just like, I just dismissed it. I was like, no, I don't want to go Ghana. I just want to let you know, like, you need to make sure you got contacts in Ghana. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I was just mad dismissive. My tone was off. And I sounded frustrated and angry. And really what it was fear. I was thinking she's going to go to Ghana, end up leaving me, Insecurity. So now when she brought up her dream, instead of me receiving it, I'm critiquing it. Yeah, you ain't thought about this, you ain't thought about that. I mean, you haven't really discussed it. Do you know what I mean? Like, And you don't realize you go into that aspect of what? You go into that aspect of critiquing. harsh critique, right? I love this point as well. If you get a compliment from somebody, they shut it down. Let me tell you something that happened to me, and I don't. The girl wasn't abusive, but it was a moment, right? I remember a situation when, and I might have told you guys this situation where, I was in a house of a friend, right? I was in the house of my girlfriend's friend at the time, right? And I was doing a little, I think I can't remember what song I was singing, but let's just say, um, melodies from heaven rain down on me, rain down on me. And I just sang a little song, little riff thing, yeah. I did a little I did a little riff thing, yeah. And the friend of my girlfriend was like, "Oh, so you can sing? Okay, all right. I see you. I see you. All right, cool. I didn't know you could do a little something like that." And then my girl looked at me at the time and said to me, "Don't look at me for confirmation. Like, don't ask me if that was a good note." And I was so shocked in that moment. I was vexed. I went into silent treatment mode. Okay. I was no better than her, to be honest. I went into silent treatment mode. Okay. So you get a compliment from somebody and they can shut it down. Now, she wasn't doing this regularly. It was just a one off. Okay. But I'm just giving it as an example. That's an example of somebody doing that. You get a compliment from somebody and they shut it down. Oh, he said you look nice. Don't get excited. Don't get excited. You're alright, so don't get excited. Like, relax. You're doing too much. Meanwhile, you haven't even really said anything. All you've done is receive the compliment, and all of a sudden you're getting in trouble. Why? Why must be the case? All right. Gaslighting. You already know gaslighting already. You already know what gaslighting is. Okay. You already know what gaslighting is. Okay. But a definition from Psychology Today says gaslighting is an insidious form of manipulation and psychological control. Victims of gaslighting are deliberately and systematically fed false information that leads them to question what they know to be true, often about themselves. They may end up doubting their memory, their perception, and even their sanity. Over time, a gaslighter's manipulations can grow more complex and potent, making it increasingly difficult for the victim to see the truth. Okay, so gaslighting is a form of manipulation, and it's about making sure the person questions the reality that they're in. Okay, and making a person uh, question who they are and what they know to be true. Okay, so this can happen in relationships, and it does happen in relationships. All right. Yes, Mallory from Love Is Blind did an amazing job at gaslighting. I ain't gonna lie to you, that girl killed it. If you're gonna gaslight, you better learn from Mallory, okay? Because she put it on. You know. So um, in that moment, what we heard with Mallory was that she basically gaslit. What's his name? I've even forgot his name. What's his name? But also he wasn't innocent either. But she gaslit him by changing reality of what he saw, by changing reality of what he knew. Okay, and what emotional abusive people will do is they'll make you question your sanity. They'll make you question your intelligence. They'll make you question your actual intelligence. They'll make you feel like, are you all right? You know what I mean? They'll make you feel like, are you all right? Why are you thinking that? That never happened. You're moving mad, right? So now the person on the other end is like, wait, it's so, and do you know what it is? Remember you used to say, Shaggy said, you're red-handed, I wanna live next door. Tell me why, to get an eye on me. Imagine you get caught red-handed. And just like I don't know if you guys have seen a recent video of the mother that slept with the baby daddy, and she got caught, and she tried to gaslight her daughter by trying to almost pretend as if, like, trying to make excuse as to why she did what she did, and then came on another live and tried to gaslight again by saying a whole bunch of stories about the daughter couldn't sleep, had to sleep in the mother's bed. So why the frick are you in the bed with the baby daddy? Or the baby daddy slipped into the bed at the same time. So why is he half naked? And why the frick did you not scream? Like, you just suddenly realized? Mm? Mm? Okay. All right. So in the gaslighting situation, all right, people do this. They really are making sure that you're actually thinking you're crazy. That's the whole point. They want to make you think you're crazy and you can't trust your own judgment. And the only judgment you can trust is their own. It's a very insidious way of doing it. That's why I said true gaslighting really, and there are people do shards of gaslighting, but I'm talking about real gaslighting. Real gaslighting means you are setting up things. It's not I got caught and I lied about something. No, it's not I got caught and I lied about something. That one's a lie. Gaslighting is intentional setting up. It's not oh I got caught. It's setting it up intentionally to make sure you are doubting reality. The target is to make you doubt reality, right? So yeah, it's going that extra mile and that. You get me? All right, cool. Let's go into this one. Um, Isolating the individual from their family and their friends. Now, this one is obviously a bit more obvious for people, but when it happens by this point, people don't realize. But at this point, people don't realize it's a done deal. The person has isolated you from their family and their friends, and they do this by creating an us and a them. And they do this by creating drama and triangulating people into the relationship and then saying, look what they're doing. They're causing us distress. They're causing us problems. And they do this, okay, all right, to make sure that when you are alone, you're easy pickings, right? You know what I mean? Yes, Caribbean girl as well. And they will consistently, right? They'll give you consistent reasons as to why your best friend or your friend, oh, you know what? I saw them looking at me and they want me, and I don't want that situation to happen. I want to protect our love. I want to protect our relationship. I think you need to cut them off. Or I see them doing this X, Y, and Z. Da, 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 da. I don't think you need to be as close to them as possible. Now they're trying to control your friends and your family. Before you know it, you have such distance between yourself and a family. Yep, isolation is a cult life. It's cult like, yeah, controlling, yeah, absolutely, same thing. Mm-hmm. Yep. So now you cut off all the exits. They got all the support beams. They got no strength. The person has got no strength because now, okay, all right, now you're in a situation where you have nothing to uphold you because all the support resources have been taken away from you. And now they're going to do whatever they want to do because without there being support, you are isolated and you are all alone. I'm all alone. You know what I mean? Here's another one. Another one is name calling and verbal abuse, which we kind of spoke about already. We'll go back to that again in a second or two. But name calling, saying little names here and there, nasty little names. Remember we said about Shamari and Ronnie and her calling him ET, and we said, I hope that doesn't mean what we think it means, because that's very mean. Mm? Oh, sorry about that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Name calling and saying things about a person and being rude about stuff like that, right? Can be verbal abuse. Refusing to participate in the relationship. That's another part as well. A person says they're down in tools in relationship. You know what? I'm not being a part of this until I get my way. Da 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 da. Right. Next part: shaming or blaming. Shaming or blaming. Okay. uh, okay. Shaming and blaming. Ooh, okay. Shaming and blaming. The person will seek when things go wrong to put you at blame. And then they'll seek to expose you and shame you, right? And African parents are amazing at shaming you. Oh, African parents are amazing at shaming you. And they shame you oftentimes through comparison. They will shame you in comparison. Oh, come and look how your cousin is doing X, Y, and Z. Look at your cousin. Look how they're winning. You're sitting there, your face long. Da 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 da. Whoa. You know what I mean? Oh, you don't know anything. You come here and you're doing what you're doing. But your cousin here, they're thriving. Your cousin here, they're married. Your cousin here has a business. Your cousin here, they're doing this and that. Your uncle or your brother, this and that. Wow. This is it. Saying nasty names like that. Are you stupid? Are you dumb? You're an idiot. You know? You see what I'm saying? So that part of is a part of the shame that they do. The shame that they do. It's emotional abuse. Okay. Silent treatment. Oh. Silent treatment is one of those ones. My specialty I used to operate in. Silent treatment was my specialty. I'm going to punish you. Hey, what? You don't want to you don't want to respect me? I'm gonna punish you. All right, cool. You think you can get away with what you did? All right, I'm gonna show you. I'm a ghost for 3-4 days. Yeah, I won't talk for 3 or 4 days. Yeah, I'll just go ghost. I will not reply to your messages. It is an absolute abuse. You are leaving that person in a state of confusion, terror, fear. They don't know if you're alive or not. Right? That's one way to do it. Another is in the home, what you're saying is I'm gonna every time I don't agree with you, or we don't agree, or we don't get away we want, I'm gonna punish you. And what you're doing is you're training the person to do what you want. Right? You're training the person to do what you want. Because you're saying, listen, every time you do that thing that I don't like, I'm going to make sure I'm going to punish you. Yeah? I'm going to go silent. Man. Someone said I went and did that last night. Nigga, please. I fell asleep. Oh, Jay. You know what I mean? So silent treatment is never a positive thing. It's emotionally abusive. Okay? Trivializing the other person's concern. This is a major one. This is a major one. Okay? This is a major one. You trivialize the other person's concerns. You minimalize it. You joke about it. Oh, you're hurt about that. I just said that little thing. Come on, get over yourself, man. What do you mean? I said you're ugly. Come on. I was joking. Obviously, I don't mean you're actually ugly. You're hurt. Come on. Come on, you're hurt. Right? Come on. Okay. Is that you're making a big deal out of that, man? Come on. I didn't even say that much. You know what I mean? Oh, come on, you're doing this. Oh no, you're I mean, and you might have been sarcastic to the person, and you're just literally minimalizing the person's hurt. Oh, you hurt me when you did X, Y, and Z. Oh, I hurt you. Are you all right? It wasn't that big of a deal. I said 1 or 2 words. Now you're doing the most. And yet the person's telling you how they feel. Of course, within reason. But, you know, when you tell African parents, you threw a shoe at me. You threw a shoe at my head. And how I felt, it was emotionally painful. You're being too much. You know that my parents, when my parents were alive, do you know what they did to me? And you're crying because I felt, oh, come on, get out of here. Go, get out of here. I threw a shoe at you. Dear bang, idiots. And literally, you're trying to explain how you feel, and they've literally rubbished your point. Rubbished your point right there and then, done it off. Oh, look. And the favorite one is parents' one is their favorite one is when you're crying, yeah. That one hits home. When they mock you when you're crying, bro, it's long. You're there and you're getting emotional, and look at it. Look, you're crying. Look at your face. I'm gonna say in our language is time. Look at it, and what that means basically look how ugly your face is when you're crying. Look how you're crying. Look. Small thing like this, you're crying. Small thing like you're crying, bruh. Do you know how emotional it was for me in that moment, bro? But you don't understand how emotional it is. Do you know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, we've suffered, man. Us black kids, we've suffered, man. We've suffered. This is another one. Um, uh, someone said my father will go into a grave doing this. Yeah. Yes, it's a good point. Or they compare your apparent weakness to how they had it tough. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, withholding affection and attention. Okay. Oh man, listen. Listen, this one's a big one for both relationships with romantic partners and parents because you know what? We all pretty much probably are affected by this, right? That when who remembers this one? Who remembers this one? Yeah, got into an argument with your parents, or maybe you came home late. Okay, all right, came home late, and now the house is cold. And I'm not talking about temperature. I'm talking about the reception you get. The house is now cold. Okay, the house is cold now because your parents are looking and they're not trying to talk to you. Have you ever been ignored by your parents? It's a mad thing, fam. Hey, when you're literally talking to them, say, "Dad, so what's going on?" They air you to your face and continue about their business. Yo, ah, they can just withhold love, man, just like that, right? Suddenly, you're being punished. They're not talking to you. No yeah, someone said no eye contact. You know what I mean? Stonewalling is actually essentially what they actually do. And yeah, listen, bro. Anybody who think that I cussed you out, like, bro, like I didn't even do that. Anybody who think that, you know what, I've tried to do the most horrible thing to you, but no, 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 no. It was a small thing, and now you're withholding affection and attention. And now I'm going a week or two, three. Someone said 3 weeks, no worse. Going through a whole period of time where you're not talking to me, you're not acknowledging me, you're not helping me. And another thing is also another thing like this as well. Let's say like you promised me, oh, you'd help pay for. Let's say you help pay money for my backpack. I need to buy a new backpack. Suddenly you'd be like, well, I'm not buying you a new backpack. Or the person will just pretend as if they missed the date of buying a backpack. You're my parents. You're not a broken up partner. I just want you to understand. You're my parents. I'm not a partner you broke up with. You know what I mean? If it's a partner you broke up with, yeah, you don't have to obligate the buying of the new things. But my friend, you're withholding affection and attention simply because what? I disagreed with you. Hmm. Ah. Hmm. Wow. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. So, VA, verbal abuse, put downs, insults, and name calling, intentional unhelpful criticism, which you spoke about, and then verbal threats as well. These all come underneath the emotional abuse factor as well. It's one of those things where the use of sarcasm, highly critical comment, but then saying it's a joke, belittling the person's ideas and thoughts, blowing up over the smallest things, constant need to run everything by the person. And then, the famous words, I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm doing this for you. Doing this for who? It's not me. It's not me you're doing this for. No. Boo boo, it's not me you're doing it for, boo. Mom and dad, you're not doing it for me. Partner, you're not doing it for me. Let's not pretend as if you're doing it for me. Let's not. You're not doing it for me, you're doing it for you. Okay? All right. So yeah. Yeah. It's a crazy thing, man. All right. I don't want anyone to be in this kind of situation. But you know what? Again, now we've defined what emotional abuse is, what verbal abuse is. You should be able to tell between the difference between rudeness and verbal abuse. We didn't have to talk much on rudeness because once we know what emotional abuse is, what verbal abuse is, you should know this ain't what a rudeness is. Someone saying there, I'm rude. No, no, no. Some of you are not rude. You are abusive. Okay. All right. You're abusive. Another example of emotional abuse is excessive demands on your partner. Excessive demands on your partner. You want them to wash the dishes, clean the dishes, cook food, go after the children. You're asking for excessive things within your relationship. Wow, can you imagine? You're asking for excessive things. Right? You're asking for very big favors, excessively demanding, right? Excessively demanding. Not like, oh, can you do me a favor? No, excessively demanding those things. Way above and beyond. If you're like Monique, yes. Right? It's way above, but it probably even a bit worse than that. Do you know what I mean? You know? And your tone and your energy and the way you even say the words. Come on. It's not helpful. It's not appreciative. It's not nice. You know? Okay, so we're looking at that as well. Boy, there's some deeper things here, boy. Okay, so maybe we'll do a second part another time, but I want to focus on those particular points there as well. Those are the things I wanted to delve into, because you know what, some of the things that people do, the rudeness that they do, it's not rudeness, mate. No, it does. Yes, asking for excessive amounts of money can count as that. Yeah. Yeah. It's excessive. And if it's consistent pattern, excessively, So listen, I appreciate you guys. Wanted to make sure we have this video here. It's a good one now. We've put out there. Next week, I believe we're talking about sex as a weapon. And I have a few people who have reached out to me already. Guys, if you haven't done so already, you want to be in part of the conversation next in 2 weeks' time, where we're talking about have you ever stayed too long? Has sex made you stay in a relationship longer than you had to? Then please do reach out to us by our email. We need to we want to be able to hear your thoughts, so if you've got some stories, I know some people have reached out already, I can see that in my emails now. Hit us on darkarts91podcast@gmail.com if you've got a story about people, Jay, you're always welcome. You've got stories. We want to know your stories, Jay, so don't even worry about it. You honorary guest, you know what I'm saying? But if you've got some stories about how you stay too long for the sex, okay, we want to know. Okay, that's our next topic in I believe 2 weeks' time as well for our next topic. The next topic after that, though, I'm not sure what it is, but look out for it on the community page. But again, we're almost at 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, guys. We really do appreciate you guys as well. So listen, like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button, join the Dark Arts team. We appreciate you guys to see more stuff. We've got more videos coming out this rest of this week as well. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded. We will see you again next week for another explosive topic as well. Much love.
I'm a going battle boy, you're paranoid. Trust in the Most High.